Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a great article for you guys from Mike over at Light Reading. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So, in this article, I wanted to cover a part of the article which I believe, in my opinion, would be a mistake from T-Mobile. But if we backtrack and go by history, T-Mobile may be able to pull this off. So let me scroll down here briefly. Make sure you guys check this article out. There's lots of info in this article. So here's the part that I wanted to cover. T-Mobile, for its part, has reportedly pulled back on its network spending in conjunction with a significant round of layoffs. That's partially due to the lead the company has against its competitors in building out mid-band 5G. So that's the first part. The second part here, some believe T-Mobile could afford to announce CapEx below the messaged 9 to 10 billion levels for 2024, though we're not convinced yet, the TD Cowen analyst wrote. So I'm not convinced either. But if that were to happen, again, we're speculating, T-Mobile could probably pull off, I would say, a 7 to 8, maybe 8 to 9 billion. And here's the reasoning why they could do it, right? T-Mobile didn't just start its 5G deployment in 2020 when the merger closed. That piece just unlocked the mid-band. You got to remember, T-Mobile has been deploying the 5G assets since 2018. That includes the radio for low band. They've made modifications and modernizations to the baseband, the core at that time. Remember, they already launched a standalone core on the low band network before mid-band even came into play. So that's already years. That's already 2018. They started 2018, 2019, 2020. That's already a 2 to 3 year investment into 5G. And now with the merger closed in 2020, now with the mid-band, that's already another 3 years that they've invested into 5G. That's a lot of investment. So the guided run rate is the 9 to 10 billion. And they said they would keep that through 2026. So I don't see them changing that. And I think it would be a mistake. Your competitors are eager to catch you, to surpass you in any way, shape, or form that they can. So they upped their CapEx so they can deploy the C-band as quickly as possible. Both AT&T and Verizon did that. Now, of course, they're talking about it differently. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're upping CapEx just to catch T-Mobile." They're trying to unlock the benefits of C-band to get return on investment as fast as they can because they spend a lot of money on it. For Verizon, that's fixed wireless access. For AT&T, who knows right now, right? They are doing fixed wireless access, but not to the same type of scale. So there's other stuff that AT&T will have to incorporate to monetize, right? Like we recently saw them develop a helmet. So we'll see what other use cases they come up with. But for them, it's very unclear as to what is the next billion-dollar use case for them. For Verizon, they disclosed its fixed wireless access. That's their next billion-dollar venture that brings in revenue. Same with T-Mobile. But they're on T-Mobile's heels. They're trying to catch them. Right? T-Mobile's at 285 million until we get the update at the quarterly earnings. Is there a possibility that they announce 300 million pops covered at the earnings? It's possible. I highly doubt it. Maybe they're at 290, 295 now. Maybe they just go ahead and announce the 300 anyway. Who knows? As of Q2, they were at 285 million pops covered. Verizon, not too long ago, announced they're now at 230. So I know geographically that's still a large landmass that Verizon will have to cover. Even though 230 to 285 doesn't sound that much, geographically that's a lot. So Verizon will have to work through the rest of this year and most of next year to get to that 280 or the 300 that T-Mobile will be at, depending on what they announce at the quarterly earnings. So I think it would be a mistake to lower the CapEx because they need to continue accelerating. There's indoor solutions that they will need. There's always something to do. It's never It's never going to stop. Even though most of the mid-band deployment is behind them, most of the low-band deployment is behind them, there's still lots to do, right? There's still Sprint sites that need to be decommissioned, that need to be ripped, that are out there. There's still sites without backup power that need backup power. There's still some sites without any fiber that have been sitting on microwave backhaul for a long time that could already been getting fiber. So there's always work to do. You know, there's legacy small cells that are still LTE only that could be upgraded by T-Mobile. So the 9 to 10 billion, I think for them is optimal, right? And even people will argue that that's too low. Some people are saying that they wish T-Mobile was spending 12, 13, 14 billion. I mean, I think if T-Mobile was in the fiber game, right, if they were deploying their own assets in fiber, that's when I would say, okay, you need to spend that much. You need to get into that 14, 15, 16, 17 billion dollar range. But if they're going to stick to that leasing model where the fiber cost goes to the OpEx once they deploy the fiber itself, you know, there's still some CapEx costs involved here. If T-Mobile deploys a new site, the initial cost to get fiber to the trench to the site is coming from CapEx. And then once the lease kicks in, the monthly leasing, that's when it converts over to OpEx. So that's still something that T-Mobile will have to figure out. The team, the high-level executives, Mike Sievert and his team, they feel confident at the 9 to 10 billion. And right now, per third party, if you look at Ookla, OpenSignal, the speed leads, T-Mobile continues to increase speeds. And the competition really isn't close as of right now in catching T-Mobile in the speed lead. That's all they seem to really care about. And with the recent free cash flow enhancements that they've been making, with the cash on hand that they have, you've seen them acquire more spectrum, right? They bought more 600 from Columbia Capital. They're getting more spectrum leasing-wise for the time being from Comcast. Then in 2027, 2028, they buy that spectrum. And then T-Mobile gets more spectrum. Once the Auction 108 spectrum clears, they put more spectrum on air in white spaces. And then, of course, in 2024, once those dual-band radios are ready, they're going to start deploying the C-band DoD. That's a lot of spectrum that they can still put on air without having to add a lot of wireless infrastructure, right? Without putting a lot of small cells out in the country, without building a ton more sites, they are already going to be speeding up just by the spectrum assets that they still have in the vault ready to be deployed. So they've been making strategic investments. It's not like they've been sitting still. They're still buying spectrum, right? They're still going to get more 600 that will widen the bandwidth across the country through the Columbia Capital purchase and then Comcast. They're getting more 2.5 for rural areas through the Auction 108, which they spent money on. So there's still more to come. So if they do, right, it's not set in stone. If they do go down to 7 to 8 to 7 billion, maybe they do 8 to 9, who knows, right? It's not set in stone. That could be enough for them, right? It could be. That's enough money to deploy C-band DoD very quickly. That's enough money to upgrade small cells. That's enough money to deploy new sites. You know, maybe not as fast as 12, 13, 14 billion would get them. But if they strategically invest and strategically grow where they invest to get ROI, then, you know, that must be enough for the company. And as I've always said, it's leading to results. They've been spending the lower CapEx since they were a standalone company. When they were at the $5 to $6 billion range, it led to them showing results. They kept growing. They kept adding customers. And now they're doing that even in a bigger bulk. They're not just growing the consumer anymore. Now they grow business. Now they grow enterprise. Now they grow SMB. They're growing fixed wireless access. They grow first responders, they're growing in all the segments that they compete in now. And that's what that merger unlocked. It unlocked them being able to compete there. Sprint Keep sites helped out. The Spectrum, of course, was a huge deal. So there's more to come from T-Mobile. They're not going to sit still. If they need to invest more, they will. If the business shows them that, hey, you need to invest more, they will. If they need to buy more spectrum, they will. If they feel like they need to invest into millimeter wave for fixed wireless access, they already said they would. So this is very interesting. Just something that I wanted to talk about. See what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.